welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton. I'm here with my guest, Jeff Dye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I can't believe you're doing a podcast where we sleep together.
I know. It's a strange thing to send out. Yeah, come to Sleeping with Sarah, right?
That's fascinating. I was told I'll be sleeping with Sarah, and then you said there's no sex involved at all.
No, I mean, we could talk about
Seems
sex.
dishonest. Seems like a really dishonest title.
Yeah. I mean, I think depends. Sleeping with somebody can also mean like laying.
Well, no, I know, but the more famous way of talking about that, like it's I'd be like, oh, like if I said I slept with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, I would think, oh yeah, they hooked
You wouldn't
up.
go, oh God, they just slept next to each other on a bed.
I'd be like, man, like I think when I was a kid, like he was like the star of all like the teen movies and all that kind of stuff.
Tiger Beats date bait. He's one of my good friends. I love him to death. I was just trying to think of the first name, and we just did a podcast today. So.
Oh no, he seems like
fresh on my brain.
He seems like a good guy.
Also, he won't be too happy about me using him as the example for that question. I don't think he's going to be too excited about me. Anyways. Sorry, Fred.
How'd you sleep last night?
Good.
Good?
Yeah. I was trying to think about it, give you a good answer.
Yeah?
Yeah. I started using one of those sleep apps.
Oh, yeah? Like
that records everything.
It records everything you do when you sleep?
So it's a constant... I know this is me guessing on the technology. But I think the technology is it records you all night, but it only saves the bits where a noise happened. So it's like it's monitoring what's going on in the room, and then gives you kind of a highlight reel in the morning.
So what is it? It's like, oh, Jeff snored at this point or talked in your sleep this
Right. But I love paranormal stuff, so I was hoping that I'd hear, like, scary stuff in my room, or I'd be like, you won't believe what I recorded. But instead, it was just every time I'd roll over, that would make, a rustling sound. That's not exciting. One of the little clips was just a fart. Just a very simple textbook, just... that was funny to me. And then a lot of me doing this, I need to get like my lungs checked or something. A lot of those. And so that was pretty much the whole recording. Nothing exciting, no paranormals.
No talking in your sleep.
No ghosties, no. But according to the monitoring, I had a very good rest, 9 hours.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you're very much a believer in ghosts and all that kind of stuff.
I love that shit. Yeah, it's my favorite.
How many encounters have you had?
None.
None?
Never.
Oh.
But I just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too. I had a couple when I was younger, when I was a kid, and one when I was in my early 20s at my aunt's house.
Well, what happened?
Well, my aunt, she lives in like Southern Illinois, and in the basement, I stayed in their bedroom, which was like a redone basement, the guest room in there, and I just saw this like old dude just like chilling in a rocking chair.
Oh God!
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's really scary.
No, he chill vibes. So when you're around ghosts, it's the vibes. Like there can be chill vibes and there can be scary vibes.
It's all scary to me.
Oh, it is?
I wouldn't be like, oh, it's just a little girl. It's a ghost of a little girl. It's like scary.
I mean, I guess, but like in a way, it's like not gonna. I don't believe ghosts can hurt you. Like I don't think they can physically hurt you.
Maybe every time they've killed someone, that person wasn't alive no more to tell anybody.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe they've got a great death record,
So is that what scares you the most, ghosts?
No, I like creature stuff, so like some sort, like my number one's Bigfoot. That's what got me into all this shit. I used to just be really into Bigfoot.
Oh.
And then as the internet has grown, and I have more time on my hands. I went from working a lot to working 1 hour a day, or a night. And so I just I do these deep dives on Bigfoot and puckwudgies and demons and poltergeists and chupacabras and rake creatures and skinwalkers and witches, like whatever the thing is, werewolves, wolfman, mothmans. Anyways, so you start watching all that stuff. They can't all be real, but... Yeah.
But do you think that they come from certain things, like the idea of like mermaids are really like, just really drunk sailors looking at, another sea creature?
Yeah, well, I think people like to think like that. Mm-hmm. They go, oh God, it's just this. But it's like, isn't it more exciting if there's that we don't know everything? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. We've only explored like 5% of the ocean, so there's a total chance that there's more shit down there. I think.
Well, there's 100% chance there's more shit.
There's like I think octopuses are aliens.
Yeah, they're very weird. Also, we haven't even discovered all the people on this planet. You know that there's like literally tribes of people that are like that we stumbled upon not that long ago who had no idea about us and we had no idea about them. Like actual humanoids, like human people, like not
crazy.
like a race of people.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that there's just so much out there. I don't like discount that it could have been real. I definitely think that there was some version of a dragon in the past because so much stuff has been written about it.
Dinosaur-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when also like what happens is humans are so arrogant, or like not arrogant, but just, I don't know, jaded is a better way to put it. Like someone will find a Sasquatch, right? And then it's going to be a really big deal to us. We'll talk about it for weeks. They'll put one in a zoo or something like that. Then we'll learn that there's probably hundreds of them, which isn't a lot. And then my kids' will be like, yeah, big deal, Bigfoot. It'll just be so normal to them.
Well, it's
Do you
like,
see what I'm saying?
like a woolly mammoth.
If you never heard of a hippopotamus and then we just like found hippopotamus, everyone would freak the fuck out. But then once you know about hippopotamuses, nobody's going, isn't it amazing? Look at that creature. It's just normal to us now. And so like pandas were considered like a myth for like ever. Like Chinese people were being like, I saw a white and black bear. And they're going, fuck off. Like that's not a real thing. And now we don't even think pandas are amazing. We just go, oh, bears.
Wow.
And that's what Bigfoot will later be. It'll be like Big Whoop. There's a big tall monkey. Who cares?
That is a really. Have you been anywhere where you saw like a foot imprint or anywhere? No, you haven't.
But I think I'm too afraid.
Oh yeah.
I believe too much. Like I'll go camping and then they'll hear like a, and then I like freaked out and I ran into my truck and I was like all annoyed and I wanted to go home and it was just a deer. Guaranteed it was just a deer. That's sounds deers make. There's tons of deer everywhere, and but it's just like I'm too much of a fraidy cat, I think, to ever really witness one.
Now, were you on anything on this camping trip?
No,
okay.
not drunk.
No, okay.
But I'm not saying I saw a Bigfoot. I'm saying there was a deer.
Okay, there was a deer.
And I got carried away and got afraid.
Well, it's good that you know that about yourself because I feel like a lot of people will do that and be adamant about.
Oh yeah, no way. I mean, the odds of me seeing a Sasquatch are ridiculous. I go in the woods probably, I don't know, 5 times in the last 40 years. I don't think I live in Sherman Oaks. I don't think a Sasquatch is gonna find its way.
So you didn't grow up like camping or anything?
No, my parents were poor. We didn't do nothing like that. They didn't do anything.
Oh, what you didn't like? Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't ski. There's nothing. It was just me on a bike with a bunch of my friends, just trying to figure out how the world worked.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad way to look at the world through the bike, right?
It was fun. Oh.
Do you have any siblings?
I have. I don't know how to answer that anymore. I've lost my verbal framing for that. So, like, I have 2 sisters, and one of them passed away. So I now have 1 sister. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
I guess, yeah.
Or do I just say 2 sisters, and if they ask, I go, oh, yeah, one's dead. Like, I don't know how to...
Yeah, it's a hard thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So I had 2 sisters. I'm down to 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're great.
All right. I'm sorry for
them.
your loss.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks. She's the best.
Yeah, it's I think, yeah, and your sister, she doesn't do any. Does she do anything creative like you as well, or
no? No, she's I don't know how to describe my sister. She's just a cool chick. She's like a regular lady. Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah,
and a fan of mine, which makes me happy. She roots me on.
See, that's what's great when you got family that's like a fan of yours that enjoys you. You know.
My sisters have always been very nice about my career. Like they're like very like to me, I'm just their little brother. Mm-hmm. But like whenever someone else talks about me, they'll be like very proud. I can feel it, and I like that. They were like, you know, they have that like thing like, wow, this person came into the store and was just gushing about you, and I was like, yeah, that's my brother. But like that's their way of.
Well, it's like siblings would never say it to your face like that.
Yeah.
They're never gonna be like, "Oh, Jeff, you're like so hilarious,"
right.
Because they're your siblings. You know, they're not gonna give you that level of, you know.
Yeah.
But they'll tell somebody else about you.
It means a lot to me. I mean, they'll bring people to my shows, or you know, whoever they're dating or whoever they're with, and watching them in the crowd laugh makes me very happy. Like my sister came to my last show in Chicago. She just happened to be there at the same time, so we got to have a dinner together and drink. And I remember like after the show being like, I think I took me and my sister's friendship to the next level here. You know? It was very fun.
Yeah, I think there's different things as adults as you do as siblings that you're like, okay, this is the next, you know.
You've reached that, like you're not annoyed with each other anymore. I'm not seeing her every day.
Yeah.
Her grumpy ass eating cereal like as a 6th grader. You know, like when we were kids, it didn't feel like it would ever be like this. It's very cool.
It's freaking me out now because my brother has kids now, and so he's got like many versions of himself, which
Yeah.
is really weird.
Yeah, they are they very similar or
Well,
just
there's-
look similar?
Well, one has his daughter sometimes looks like me, which is also kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Well, just some expressions, but she's except for her hair. Her hair is lighter, much lighter, like lighter brown blonde. But she'll be 4 next month, and then her younger brother's like 2. They're only like 17 months apart, so like
okay.
2.5 months. 2.5 years old is the other one. So, but yeah, I know what kids can do up until like that age. Afterwards, I'm lost.
I was just talking about that with my friends that like I have no idea how kids' ages work.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at a grocery store and there's a man in front of me and had a little boy was like holding his hand,
Mm-hmm.
and the little kid turned around and looked at me and I just made like a face. I was like, and then the little kid tugged on his dad's hand. He goes, "That man's making faces at me." And then the guy turned around. I go, "Oh God, he can talk." I don't even know. I just thought it was like a baby, like when you make a face at a baby or something. It's very embarrassing. And then I'd explain to him. I was like, "No, I just kind of like stuck my tongue out. I didn't. It's weird." How'd you stick your tongue out? No, not in no bad way.
It is strange because they're figuring out different things. Like my younger niece, she loves fashion. She wears stickers on her forehead for fashion,
Nice.
for fun. I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
little
good for you.
tattoos.
Do what you want to do. Do
Yeah.
you? But then she's very bossy. She's like, when we're around, I want you to wear a sticker on your forehead. I want
yeah.
you to do this, and it's very.
That's a
very
normal
much-
kid thing, though.
Yeah.
That's why like I'm trying to think what that. I read some book about that where it was like you let a little kid boss you around. Like my nieces were all like that. Sit here. And you drink this, now I'm like tea, party or whatever. You're just using that as an example, but like, you do sit where they want you to sit, and you do watch shit that you don't want to watch because you love them and they're little. It's the problem is that they got to grow out of that.
So
When a 20-year-old's doing that, you go, "You're an immature idiot," and you think the whole world should just do what you boss them around to do.
Yeah.
You should have grown out of that cognitively by about 6 or 7.
So were you the funkle then? Were you the fun uncle?
When they saw me, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, because I live in California and they all live in Seattle, so it was like, I was more of a like Bo Jackson to them, like there was all these myths about me, like Uncle Jeff has a big house and Uncle Jeff is on, TV, which I guess I have been on a lot of TV, but nothing they've watched.
Yeah.
So it's like
Nothing they should be watching, right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like I mean, like I'm sure, like when you're a little girl at school, you're lying, saying your uncle's famous. It's like, I'm not famous. I'm just on some stuff, but like to them, that's, it's a flex.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the best. And I really, really love them. And they kind of treat me the way my sisters did, where it's like, I can do no wrong, which is kind of nice.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Like there's never like, Uncle Jeff is bad. It was just like, oh, he's the uncle that's on TV that curses. And we
I
like
can't repeat these jokes, or
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to watch. Are you afraid of them coming across any specific bits in your comedy? That
No,
You're
never.
fine with
No.
everything.
Yeah, and it's also just like I did Ninja Warrior and they got to watch that.
Yeah.
And they were like going crazy. So like that made me happy.
How'd you do on that?
I did good. I got the buzzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I did like the easy celebrity version.
so there's an easier.
They make
version-
them easier. And each leg that you make it through, they give $5,000 is for Red Nose Days.
Oh, that's great.
And so if you watch it though, you wouldn't know it's easier. But they mention it during the thing. They'll be like, well, we've made it a little easier for these guys because they're not, ninjas. These are whatever. But I was one of the only guys who got up and hit the buzzer.
Yeah.
It was also like easier for me. I'm tall.
Yeah.
Some of those things you can get through just by being long.
Having long legs.
Yeah, like I'm not any stronger than anybody or anything, but I was just so long that like to make that leap or to reach something is so much easier.
Yeah.
It's a real life hack on that thing.
Being able to jump higher.
tall.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not experienced that. I was always kind of short. I was, I'm like 5'4.5", which I still say half because that's true.
You're as tall as a lot of male comedians.
Yeah. It's, I mean, like, I don't have a problem being short, but I get how, I don't know, I guess it matters for some people. For me, it's like, okay, I couldn't be a model and I couldn't, play basketball professionally or anything,
Yeah, but big whoop.
Yeah.
Do you want to play professional basketball?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I like
It
watching
only sucks to be short if you're a guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, all right, here's the thing. And I have dated short before. I've dated, I had a boyfriend for a while in Chicago that was like 5'7" or 5'8".
It's taller than you.
Is on the taller than me, on the shorter side. The thing is, I've also dated other guys that were shorter. That part of it was their own ego got in their way.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like, I had no problem with the height, but you were kind of an asshole.
Sure.
You know, and I think part of that feeds into itself.
That's
like,
everything, though.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like being like, I've dated some heavier girls, and they were so obsessed about it. Like, well, they had a real bad attitude about how big they were. It's like, yes, of course, like, society's judging them in a way.
Yeah.
Short guys have that same thing. They're like, everyone's fine. No, like, 70% of the dating pool is eliminated to me because I'm this short. You know what I'm saying?
But I also have friends that are tall women. I've got a couple friends that are 5'11", 6 foot female friends that
But
have
they even
different
date guys
issues.
taller than them.
Well, no, it's also just harder for them to find people as
Maybe.
well.
Interesting.
So it's a different thing because they're not like, it's just a different vibe. I think.
I've noticed height privilege in my life more often than white privilege.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure.
Height privilege.
Like, even when I was broke, girls would be like, look at that tall guy over there. Like, it was like just being tall has, like, a lot more advantages that I've noticed in life than other things.
Well, I think you feel probably more confident walking around. You feel
the
more
odds of me getting
confident.
mugged are way less.
Exactly.
Yeah, the odds
You don't have
of-
to worry about walking. Yeah, you don't
No
have to.
girl's ever been like, I'd date him, but he's 6'4". Like, it's worked to my advantage. Also, like, on airplanes, almost every single time, the flight attendant or some nice woman, generally speaking, would be like, hey, do you want this seat? I know you got your big long legs, like, oh, you want the exit row, or you
Yeah.
So, like, just little things like that,
Yeah.
or like people just treat you a little different. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, everyone like literally has to look up to you,
Yeah.
so that's got to change a vibe.
Do you remember Mimi from Drew Carey's show?
No.
She was like the funny, I don't know what that term would be, and I don't know enough TV lingo. But like, there's like your lead character.
Yeah.
And then she's like the
side comic relief.
Yeah, the comic relief. She was like the main comic relief of the show. She was this big, larger-than-life character that was like Drew Carey's nemesis that he had to work with. And she wore really terrible makeup for the character, and like she was just a really brash lady. But anyways, the actress that plays her was at Whole Foods, and she like tracked me down like 3 aisles over, like, hey, excuse me, young man, you're tall. Can you reach some things for me? So I just went around kind of shopping with her, grabbing these really tall things that she needed on the top shelf. And it was really cool just to get to meet her, but like that's an advantage.
Yeah.
Got long arms. I can reach shit on the top shelf.
That's true. Did you mention that you knew who she was?
Yeah, right away. I was like,
cool.
oh, I'm so honored. I didn't bring up my career at all. I just said, hey, I'm just a fan of yours. I was
that's
just tall
great.
boy at Whole Foods.
See, that's the thing. It's weird. I find it really hard because I'm bad at recognizing people.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Very bad at that. I'm like, I think I know who this person is, but I'm not sure.
Well, Google's helped with that a lot.
Yeah, it has.
I
but
used to get all the time, hey, do you do comedy? And I'm like, yeah. Now they go, you're Jeff Dye. And I don't think that that's a product of me being more successful. I think that they go, I think I know that guy. And then they're able to use the internet.
Oh, to look it up.
Yeah.
What do they?
And then they
like,
come up
really
with the
tall
arrogance
comedian.
that they knew my name. But it's like, you didn't know my name. You knew me from The Thing, and then you looked up The Thing, and then you got my name, and then you came over to me and said my name. But
So
that's
you-
okay.
Yeah, so you know they check.
I've seen it.
Oh, you have.
And I've watched because I was on this show with these guys. I was on a show with Terry Bradshaw, Henry Winkler, George Foreman, and William Shatner.
Oh, wow.
And the show was really successful because it was on NBC, and you've got those 4 superstars on the show. And I was just as big of a part of the show as they were, but I represented like the viewer. Mm-hmm. So if you were like, I wonder what it's like to be on vacation with these guys, I'm kind of the character you're living it through. Because I'm not nearly as successful. I'm just like their guide.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's the only reason I was such a big part of that show. And so people go, oh, he's the guy from Better Late Than Never. And then they look up Better Late Than Never, like at the coffee shop. I can see it over their like shoulders from a distance. And then, I'm seeing them scroll through images of me. And then they come through like, you're Jeff Dye, right? And I was like, yeah. But like, I've done that too before.
Now, was that show, was that, it was non-scripted, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was reality.
But was it reality, is it scripted or,
So what reality likes to do is they say it's not scripted, but it's heavily produced.
It's
that
like
make
bullet
sense?
point. It's like
Well,
your
so they're
set
not
bullet
saying
points.
say this and say that. They're saying like this would be a great example. Like you're gonna go on a bed with a girl and talk for an hour, right? They're not telling you what to say, but they're just putting you in circumstances that they'll like want to see what unfolds.
Yeah.
And they're very heavy on that. Like they'll set up a whole medieval times
Yeah.
It wasn't a medieval times. They hired people to set up a medieval times and then put us through it, you know? So it's like kind of a lot of that, which feels icky and dishonest, but funny things happen and, you know.
And that's good for TV, so it works.
It's also hard to tell what's real and what's not. One time we were in Africa for season 2, because season 1 was all in Asia. Mm-hmm. Season 2 was in Africa and Europe. And we went and drove hours into this tribe's area where there's all these like long neck tribes, you know, the people that have the rings on their neck. And we interacted with the kids, we played games, kicked like a ball back and forth, bought little things in their market, met them. It was tough to meet someone that you can't speak to. That was tough.
Yeah.
Even with a translator, it's not the best connection you're making with these people. But anyways, long story short, as we're leaving, George Foreman's like, that wasn't real. And we were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. We drove hours into we're in Morocco, dude. Pretty sure that's real. And he's like, nah, that's all set up. TV, that's all TV. NBC did all that. And of course it wasn't. But George thinks so because George is so annoyed with how much other stuff was produced, you know. Yeah.
What part of Morocco was it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We went to so many places
No.
that like.
Oh, yeah, it's probably insane.
I always sound like a liar. I'm like, oh, I've been to this country, and they're like, where at in Lithuania? Like, Lithuania. That's all I know.
No, I'm gonna be going to Europe this summer, so I was trying to figure it because I know if you go to the south of Spain, it's only like a 40-minute boat ride to
really?
Morocco, and I've never been to Africa.
Morocco's cool. It's dangerous for women though, so.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
be
So
safe.
but I've been to Cambodia and Vietnam and China.
Okay.
I've done some solo traveling by myself. Although looking back, you know, I've maybe put myself in some situations that weren't the safest, but you know, I'm here. I'm here now. It's fine.
I always encourage American women to travel as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because I love America so much, and like. We've got it so good that all the women I know that complain about like, oh, sometimes men over-explain things to me. And I'm like, have you been anywhere else? I'm not saying we shouldn't work on ourselves and work on the country, but like the things you're moaning about are insane. When you just go to Syria for like 4 days and come back and watch how much you love America.
And that's what Cambodia was like for me. That was the first time I really experienced that, and I had a translator there. And seeing a because I went to China, which is super developed. I went to Beijing, and then I went to Cambodia, and then I went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I had a friend teaching abroad in Vietnam afterwards, you know. But going to Cambodia, seeing how they're not even hoping for a better life in this current life because they're 95% Buddhist, so they believe in, you know, past and future lives. So they'll sometimes have a family, maybe they have 8 kids, they'll try to get 1 or 2 of their kids to be young Buddhist monks so that the next life they're granted better circumstances to live in.
Crazy.
And it's like and they spend half their days working. Like even school is worked out where the kids will either work in the morning or in the afternoon, and they go to school for 4 hours a day. Yeah. It's like built into the culture, and it's like it makes you very appreciative of what you have.
For sure.
And also realizing they're not even hoping for a better life in this life. It's the next life.
Yeah. When it's just fascinating. I never want to sound like a pig, like I'm saying, like, oh, these women should, because we should work on it. We should get better. Obviously, it's one of those things. Like in Russia, like the way the women talked to the American men was like we were the biggest pussies in the world. We were like, they were like, we love American men. They don't hit us, like that. And it's like that was like their standard was like, you know, men don't rough them up. The American men don't rough them up. And I'm just like. It's just fascinating to come back to America and hear people be like, we should cancel so-and-so because he's a pig to women. It's like, no, he's just a jerk. That guy sucks, but we don't need to like cancel. He's not doing I don't know, just it's fascinating. But the more I travel, the more I like appreciated like how we got it pretty good. Yeah. We have it real good.
So if you have to travel for work, do you still enjoy doing vacations for yourself outside of work, or does it still feel like work after doing the show?
I almost never get to vacation because comedy is traveling every weekend, and then the travel show was traveling. So it's like, sounds so cliche, but my job is vacation.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've worked. I just driving here to this going, this is work. I'm going to lay in a bed with a girl and talk. And then that's going to, like, being able to clip this up or share this or someone maybe learning about my career. Like, this is work.
Yeah, it's fun.
What a world.
But I love that you can kind of, as a comedian, create like a life for yourself where it's just fun.
Well, my last girlfriend, we would like to go to places together, but I think I enjoy vacation a lot more like if I have a girlfriend as opposed to like just me going.
I think I didn't used to like traveling alone until I started doing until I went through a breakup, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to Europe and cutting off my hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
No, that's the thing you do. But no, think I discovered I really love traveling. Because when you travel by yourself, you get to do what you want, when you want, at any point, and you don't have to be beholden to what they want to do.
Right.
But, at the same time, I do like traveling with partners. It's just about timing.
I just want to do everything she wanted to do. It was so easy.
Oh, if you guys have the same hobbies and that works
Well,
out.
no, I mean, just drinking, looking at stuff, being in the sun and eating at rest. I mean, it's like...
Fair. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, so it didn't feel like I was, like, beholden to her at all. I was just going, like, yeah. She'd be like, I want to see this thing. And I go, perfect.
Oh, so you just go with the flow.
Let's
You're just
go.
like,
Yeah. What is that? I mean, I can't think of anything she would have wanted to do that I wouldn't have. Like, I don't even like dancing, right? But like with her, I like dancing.
Oh,
like
that's
it was
sweet.
like
Yeah.
I was like, she's dancing. All right, let's fucking dance. It's like it's just kind of like. Whereas when I'm doing comedy, it's just whatever my guys want to do. Like all the guys that I travel with, and so that's fun too. I just feel like I'm never working. It's fun. It's a fun life.
Very go with the flow.
Yeah.
When you were younger, I know you started stand-up like pretty young.
Really young, yeah.
What, 18 or something?
No, I was like in my 20s, but like 22 or something like that.
Yeah. So you started pretty young. So when you were younger, what did you want to be? Did you know?
I wanted to be a comic my whole life.
Oh, okay. You just knew it.
Yeah, but I didn't know that I could be a stand-up comic.
Okay.
I just saw guys like Chris Farley or these guys like on TV that were really funny, and I thought, well, they're not doing a regular job like my mom and dad do. Like if that's a job, why can't I just do that job?
Yeah.
So it made sense to me. It didn't seem like this. It didn't seem like it was in my TV. It seemed like, well, that's a profession for someone out there. Like that's how I like viewed it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm just gonna be funny, And I wasn't good at sports. I was terrible in school, and then girls didn't like me. I was a very late bloomer. So I was like, I'll just be the funny guy.
Yeah.
So every school, every day, it's just trying to make the class laugh. And since girls didn't like me, I had like a little bit of a hack. Like I could be gross funny. I wasn't worried about my reputation. So I'd like fart off those chairs really loud in class. And,
So you were the class clown.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you'd have asked any of those girls, like they'd have been like, oh, Jeff was the funniest guy in our school, but he was like, no one liked him. Like it was, like, but nobody's like trying to date the guy that's farting in class and like just trying to be a jackass all the time. So it really helped. That's kind of like, how I made friends.
Yeah.
Just by being funny.
I was a late bloomer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked very young for my age. When I was 10, I was in a play to play a 5-year-old.
Oh, weird.
Like I was very small for my age. It was not good.
5-year-old.
Yes, it was bad. But it took me a little bit longer to get to that point. But yes, I feel you on that.
I think it's better though.
Yeah.
I think it was way better to be a late bloomer because I didn't have anything to like lean on, if that makes sense. Like all the athletes at my school they're great guys and I love them, but they didn't feel the need to like go make friends. They just kind of had the team, they had their buddies that are doing the same thing as them, or they didn't feel like they needed to work on their verbal skills or try to be silly or anything. Like they just had a thing. And then like if you're good looking, then you've got people chasing you around for all of life, and then the academic kids had the academic kids, and I was like, well, how am I gonna make friends? Like, how is anyone gonna like me? So I just had to like learn how to talk to people, or learn how to like goof around with people, or be playful, or it was like flirting without the sexual part, just like being playful, getting to be someone's friend.
Yeah.
But I only learned that because I didn't have anything else.
Well, I think that's interesting how resilient and adaptable kids can be.
Yeah.
Or you can be as a kid. That's how you like learn how to do those things.
That's why I think devices are terrible. Like obviously I like my device and I'm in it 24 hours a day, but I'm not like still figuring out how to be social. Like my nieces and nephews are. I mean, you go snowboarding with them and they'll put like their earbuds in and just go down the mountain by themselves, and you're like, bud, you gotta talk. We gotta share with everybody like what your day's like or what you're thinking about or who, just anything. Just communicate a little.
Yeah, I think that's a little scary too. Like just to, hopefully people can be, in person. Although I do had a little hope. We went to a party that ended up being, people that were a little bit younger than us, no problem, but some people that were just out of college, and it was just this rooftop party, and I didn't see any phones out the whole time. Everyone was just like in person in the moment chatting. Now these are all like, artsy film school kids, so maybe that's just the type of people, but at the same time it was very refreshing.
Well, they were at a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's a bit different. You're right. I feel like a lot of times if people are at bars and things, it's all capturing pictures versus.
Or like, I mean, it doesn't even necessarily be a device, but like they're practicing things that you would do alone. You know, so like, oh, I just read all day, and then we pat them on the back because we're like, oh, you're reading, but it's like, but don't read all day. Like, go interact with someone. Like, go to a.
Because you had to when you first had to ask a girl out.
Yeah.
You know, was that you had to like call them or say that
Call
in
them
person?
on the phone. I mean, I would have never done it in person.
Oh,
In a
yeah.
million
Okay,
years,
never.
no.
Okay, so
And when I was first doing it, you call them on the phone.
Yeah.
You go, hey, is Kristen there? I got a terrifying story. Listen to this.
Okay.
I don't know who the fuck I thought I was at this age because the girl that I liked was like the most popular girl in school.
Oh.
I had no idea who I was. But you know, like I would have these not delusions, but like I would have like these ideas of who I was at school because I was really popular. But again, it wasn't popular because anyone wanted to be with me. It wasn't popular because I was like cool or athletic or attractive. I was cool because I was just funny, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's nice and funny." So, anyways, I would get lost in that. Like, well, I'm very popular. Maybe these girls do like me, and they're just not telling me or something. So
It's hard to get.
Yeah, I got Kristen's phone number from God knows who. The coolest girl in our school. She's beautiful and like athletic and just the best. Everyone likes her. So I call her and I was like, I threw this guy under the bus too. This story. Sorry, Mike. Mike Jensen was like also the coolest guy in our school because he was like 6'5" in like kindergarten. I think he's almost 7 foot tall now.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's just this big guy, and I don't know why I was trying to do this, but I called her and I was like, "Hey, is Kristen there?" And then whoever got her, you know, like she gets on, she's like, "Hello," and I was like, "Hey, it's Jeff from English," or what? And she's like, "Okay, hi." Because, you know, she's as confused as anyone would be.
She's like, which one is
Just telling this story is mortifying me. And I was like, I was just calling because, like, would you ever date Mike Jensen? Which is, like, the big tall guy. And he's like, there's no reason that I did this. I was just stalling, I think. And then she was like, no. And then I was like, oh, well, would you ever date me? And then there was, like, this little, like, pause, you know, probably a 1/10 of a second, and then I just like hung up the phone. So just so embarrassed. And I was like, and then like totally mortified to go to school like on Monday, like just thinking like, why would I even call her? Why did I do that? This is so stupid. So, you know, there wasn't a lot of asking anyone out in my life until I was older.
For me, I think so. The opposite of that, I think a lot of times people were very confusing. You know, like we thought guys were confusing on text, you know, messaging or calling, you know, because, you know, I think I got a cell phone when I was like 14 or 15 or something, but it wasn't like an iPhone, you know, it was back when kids had phones and they were the cheapest phones because they weren't going to spend that much money on an iPhone for a 14-year-old. But for me, it was, I would think I was just utterly confused by the opposite sex, and I was really very like made fun of a lot in middle school. So when I got to high school, I wasn't sure. I couldn't believe that people were being genuine because in middle school, I went to a smaller school and people used to like, you know, be like, oh, like Robbie wants to go out with you. And then they'd be like, he's just kidding, you know.
Oh,
and, like,
God.
They were mean. They were mean kids. I mean, there's a reason I'm a comedian now.
Yeah.
Like,
but also now, or like, you know, going a few years later, like someone says like, no, Robbie does like you. And you're like, very funny.
No, and so that's what happened. So when I went to high school, I was in a more advanced Spanish class. And so I was with a Spanish class with sophomores and juniors, and somebody who was a popular guy, like an athlete, I think his name is Paul, somebody was just like, well, Paul, you know, wants to ask you out. And I was like, I said no because I thought it was a joke.
Right.
And that was like a real,
poor Paul.
It was a real genuine thing.
Yeah.
And then I had like cheerleaders coming up to you, like, I heard that Paul asked you out, da da da. And it was like, I thought he was kidding. And
right.
And then I was like, how do I take this back? Like, how do I say, yes, I do want to go out with you without being an asshole? And Paul and I never ended up going out.
Yeah. Well, Paul, if you're listening, it's never too late.
Wow. You know, I am taken.
You got to see what Paul looks like now, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's taken.
Yes,
Never mind. You
yes.
really you fucked it up, Paul.
I think it was Paul Swanson, actually. It's weird how those names will come back.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. It's like, it's not the fear of rejection. People will sometimes oversimplify it to that. Like, oh, guys are so mortified to get rejected or whatever. It's like, it isn't that. It's the after part. Sure, the rejection part is a little tough. But now you're like, well, I'm going to run into this person and what's it going to be like? Or they're going to tell someone. You know, like, I asked a girl out not that long ago, and I won't say her name, because for her sakes. But, like, I did it on Instagram. I just said, hey, it was nice meeting you either tonight or last night, whatever it was. And I go, well, would you ever want to get drinks? You know, get drinks sometime? And she goes, no, thank you. And I was just go, ugh, like that kind of, like, hurt. But, which is fine. It's okay, you know. But then I was like, well, I'm gonna see her at the Comedy Store, or I'm gonna see her at the thing. Like it's the future part.
Yeah.
Or she might be somewhere right now and be like, can you believe Jeff Dye asked me to get drinks? Like, fuck off. Like there's that part of it. That's like this kind of psychological mind fuck. It's not the rejection part. It's the other stuff.
Yeah. I think in the most part people are pretty mature, but like I also did recently have a run-in with somebody that I did date when I first came to LA, but like he was somebody who I wouldn't commit to because I knew he wasn't like good enough for me, if that makes sense. Like there's this
Ouch, if you're listening.
It's okay because we dated for a little bit and then we stopped, and for a while I was in this like kind of I was in this it was during the pandemic. I was kind of in like it ended up being an unhealthy kind of throuple situation with somebody that he knew.
Yeah.
And like he tried to like shame me the other night when I was at the Improv, and he was like, well, you were mad at me for doing this thing, but you did like something really bad. I was like, what I did was not bad, dude.
Right.
You're just like uptight in your situation and you're making shit awkward when I'm just here hanging out, and I'm gonna leave now. Like, bye.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he has some feelings wrapped up in there.
Maybe, but
Might
like
have misrepresented himself.
But he's like, I think he's like married now and has like a kid or something. I don't know. It's been years. It's
weird,
not like
yeah, it shouldn't be a big thing.
It shouldn't be a big thing. I don't know.
You know how you were saying you got made, people would mess with you, so then it made you not really understand when someone was genuinely asking you. That happened to me with the band Collective Soul.
What do you mean?
So I famously like I genuinely just like the music that I like, but according to my friends and everyone else around, my music taste isn't great. Like people always go, Jeff, if someone stole your iPod, they'd return it. Like it's but whatever. I like the music, but I'm a big Collective Soul guy, And I was at this like celebrity golf tournament, and I heard that Ed Roland would be one of the golfers. Okay. So it's like the day before the golf tournament and everyone's partying and whatever, and I didn't see him there. I was very excited to meet like the guy from Collective Soul. It's either Ed Roland or Dean Roland. I can't remember which one. And so the next morning I get up real early because our tea times are early, and I go down to get a coffee because I'm a Seattle coffee snob, and so I'm like getting in this, I'm waiting in the line, and right in front of me is Ed Roland. And I'm like, holy shit. So I tap him on the back, and I was like, dude, I'm a huge Collective Soul fan. And then I turned to my girlfriend and I go, this is Kim, this is Ed Roland from like Collective Soul. And he was like, yeah, man, very funny. Like he took it like I was being sarcastic. It was almost like he was like, no one's this big of a fucking Collective Soul fan.
It's like someone from Nickelback thinking that you're going to be like, I'm a big Nickelback
fan. I was
fan.
being a douche, because the way I look, and I'm like also like overselling like how excited I am to meet this guy, and then like he just walked away, and I was like, he's probably somewhere thinking like, fuck that guy, like making fun of me in front of his girlfriend about Collective Soul. But it just reminded me of that story.
Oh man. So what else is in your playlist then?
So again, I don't want to, by saying these bands, then people are gonna go, well, who's trashing? You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be that reverse effect.
Got it.
Where they're
you don't want
gonna
to get in trouble.
Hey, that's not shit. But like Goo Goo Dolls, Third Eye Blind.
Okay. I feel like all the songs that guys learn how to play.
Look at that.
I feel like those are all the songs that guys learn how to play an acoustic guitar so they can impress their college girlfriends.
I guess, yeah. It was kind of John Mayer before John Mayer, if you will. But also, the only reason I like it, I've really done the work on this, like in therapy. Like, I associate a time in my life. Like when I listen to Goo Goo Dolls, I'm thinking about like I was madly in love with this girl in school who thought I was a loser. She basically treated me like her gay friend. She'd have fun with me all day. I'd make her laugh day and night, and then she would go hook up with the football team or something. And not the whole football team, but I just didn't want to say Justin McKillop. I didn't want to say his exact name. But anyways.
Well, now it's out there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They don't give a shit. But I'm in love with her. And I'm just thinking, someday she'll see. Someday I'll be a big star and shit. So, like, I associated with this kind of, like, teen angst and, like, me dreaming. Like, why you like anything that you like from when you were a kid. And I think music and smells and photographs have, like, this kind of power over us. They, like, kind of take us back to that time. But, like, if you see me at a Goo Goo Dolls concert, it is humiliating. Like, I brought my boy Josh Nelson to see the Goo Goo Dolls because I'm friends with the Goo Goo Dolls manager. And he like left us tickets. But because I got the tickets to the Goo Goo Dolls manager, I just figured it's a Goo Goo Dolls concert.
Yeah.
So we go, the opening guy's fine or whatever. And then Goo Goo Dolls come out. I stand up, I'm singing. No one else is. And Josh was mortified. He's like, Jesus, because I don't sing well either, but I'm like blurting out the lines. And then after like 8 songs, Collective Soul's like, you guys have been great. Enjoy Train. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, they're not the headlining band? I drove 2 hours with my boy Josh just to like watch 8 songs. So I finally was just like, we left, and Josh like, we should stay and watch Train. I'm like, no, let's get out of here. Let's go to the chimney sweep and drink whiskey. I can't believe Collective Soul fucked us out of a show. And but like that's how much I like Collective Soul.
Yeah.
Like they're like very, very good. I love the Wallflowers, Jacob Dylan. But I do like Creedence and Bob Dylan and like some more classic stuff that wouldn't
Classic
be
rock.
as heavily judged. Tom Waits.
Yeah.
You know. But it's fun to make fun of me for the music that my friends don't like.
For me, I think it's because my parents were my mom was a very big fan of like Supertramp and REO Speedwagon.
Okay.
Like,
I thought you were gonna cry for a second. Whatever you just did, I was like, is she about to
no.
emotionally
Like,
break down about a song?
Start crying about it. No,
It's a weird
it's
podcast.
just it is strange because like those songs are ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
And it's like, for some reason, those very certain specific albums that they would just play over and over
Sure.
again. It's like, and my mom had like so many Bruce Springsteen albums and like Rod Stewart and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Like, so like that's like growing up my young years, they would constantly like play
Sure.
that music.
Well, like for me, it's like Sister Hazel, Hootie and the Blowfish. Like those are like my first CDs. And the only reason I listened to Collective Soul is because my dad had all the tapes. So I would just go and like steal his tapes and like listen to them like on repeat. And so like that's the same thing, kind of gets ingrained.
Yeah.
But I don't think me liking Collective Soul is any worse or better than when a girl or a woman my age tells me that she loves Britney Spears.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It was just like you were growing up and that was awesome and you loved it.
Yeah, like, you know, or like Spice Girls or Christina Aguilera or all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So
Right.
it's fine.
So you love Collective Soul so much that you would be like singing at the concert.
Yeah. Well, those songs are pretty good.
Yeah. Do you karaoke?
No, I actually don't sing well at all.
No.
Although every Monday, it's funny, it's a Monday right now. There's a show in Manhattan Beach called it's named after the place Ponchos. But it's a restaurant in Manhattan Beach that they do this really good bar show that Dan O'Carter's been doing for 11 years. Really good. But afterwards, everyone goes, the audience and the comics go across the street. And we sing karaoke. And he always puts on Sister Hazel and then like comes over with the microphone. Not always, but he's done it a few times. And I'm just like mortified because I'm like, no, like I'm not going to sing in front of... It just makes me so uncomfortable to sing.
Really?
Yeah, in front of people.
See, I love it because it's fun to do something different than a mic than work for me. You know,
Yeah.
like, because it's like so much of it is, oh, I'm in a mic, I'm like doing a podcast or doing stand up.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to do something different with a microphone that's just kind of more playful.
Sure,
Like,
but are you good?
What? Singing?
Yeah.
I'm like sketch. Like, I could get by in a sketch TV show singing.
Okay.
But like, I'm not auditioning for a musical. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't think I could make it in a musical, but if I was like on SNL and had to kind of like sketch level sing, I
Okay.
can do that. I did some sketch. I was part of an improv musical for a while in Chicago.
It's funny. Well, that means you can sing. Is what that means.
And then I used to do live band karaoke in Chicago.
Oh,
And I think
okay.
I used to not be as good, but I got better because I go to live band
Practice.
karaoke with the group every week.
Yeah.
And when you have a full band, your ear
Sound a
becomes
lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
here's the thing. I think it's 2 parts for me. It's like one, you know, I get enough attention all the time. I'm doing stand up so much, and I'm doing so, like, you know, and also like I get to do a lot of time. Even when they like say do an hour, I'm up there forever. Like getting me off stage is very hard to do. So I'm kind of getting all that attention out. Like I don't feel like I want to go sing at a karaoke bar. And then the second part is I'm shit. I'm not good at the singing part. So it's like maybe I would want that attention if I was good at it, but I don't like getting the attention at something I'm not good at.
I think that's a fair thing. Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
like I'm not trying to act like I don't need the attention. I love attention. That's the reason I'm a comic. But I don't like that type of attention where everyone's like, ugh, he should stop singing. He's bothering us with this. You know?
Yeah, we like the jokes. Stop the
Yeah,
singing.
exactly. And I like when they're going, okay, we'll give him attention because it's earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think it's fun to do it just because, I don't know, I think I've always just enjoyed karaoke, like since I was like a kid, you know?
Yeah, it's fun. I like watching karaoke, if I'm honest. I watch it 2-3 times a week because I'm in places where people are singing.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very universal thing no matter where you are in the country. There's like someone doing karaoke in that town, right?
In Asia, everyone's doing karaoke.
Oh my gosh.
The whole thing.
What was your favorite place in Asia?
Probably just like Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Just because everything's so different.
Yeah.
You can't read anything. You know, they'd be like, where do we go? And they go, go to this. You'll see this symbol. Then turn down here. You see this symbol. Like, it's just like it's just so unusual from what I'm used to that I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird when you can't read a language.
I
And
know.
you're like, oh, I just got to trust that people
He's
are...
writing the things down for the directions, and I'm just like looking at the symbol going, does that match? It doesn't have a little tail thing here.
Oh, I had to do a thing where I had to stop because my taxi driver was confused in Vietnam, and I had to go into a hotel to have them write down something to
Yeah.
get me to a place.
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Have you, I think you mentioned Spain earlier.
Yeah, I haven't been yet, but I'm gonna go.
You know why I don't like Spain?
Why?
Well, it's beautiful, one.
Yeah.
It's a very, very beautiful country, and I like a lot of their customs, and I really enjoyed myself. But I was so ugly there. Like, every woman in Spain is like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life, right? We went to this like club, and I was literally like, every woman is absolutely knockout gorgeous, and especially the setting that we were at, because like it was like this nightclub that starts at 2 a.m. It starts at 2
Oh,
a.m.
yes, that's so
So
crazy.
you eat dinner and smoke cigars or do whatever you're into, hookah, until like 2 a.m. And then at 2 a.m. this big nightclub opens. And the only reason all these beautiful women are there, or there's the only reason that thousands of beautiful women are there, is because all the soccer players go there. And see, these girls could potentially meet a soccer star and date him or whatever. And so I was just like, I brought 10 dudes like that were working on the show with me. We all went together. I didn't bring them, but we all went together. And I remember being like, I'm gonna marry. So I'm gonna get one of these girls pregnant, and I'm gonna marry her. Like, this is like the most beautiful women ever. And then guess what? The dudes walked in, and they were the most beautiful dudes I've ever seen in my life. Like, the hottest guys that have ever been assembled, just thousands of them. And then all the girls are hot, and we were like, I should have been shoveling coal for these people.
Oh.
Like, I felt like if I hit on a girl, they'd be like, back to the shadows, ugly. I'm like, this is terrible. I'm just gonna go back to my country and just live there, because Spain is just too sexy. It's too sexy.
I haven't been there,
I felt like
but...
a mutant.
Oh, I haven't been there, but I think I was worried about LA. When I moved to LA, I was like worried. I was like, oh, everyone's going to be so gorgeous and like everything. And I think it got a lot better because I think when people have good days, people tell you and you feel a little better.
What does that mean?
That means like, even if I'm not the most, like, even though like Chicago, like what you have in Chicago, people wear a lot of like, they'll wear a lot of layers in the winter and like everyone like sheds them in the summer and like, but like LA, there's like a different level of like attractiveness because there's more attractive people, I think, overall in LA.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree? Oh, okay.
I think that there's more talented people in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Because, like I give credit to LA for that. Like, a lot of people are like, everyone's so fat. It's like, no, just take the most annoying person from your school, and they all moved to LA. You know, like, I was the guy who needed attention. It was loud and, like, obnoxious and couldn't just fucking shut up for 2 seconds. And I moved to LA.
Yeah.
Where everyone else, like me, moved to. So I would say, like, the place has the most annoying / talented / like artistic actor, theater, comedy people collected. But when it comes to looks, I don't think it's better.
I think I was just intimidated thinking that I came here and like everyone would be like super gorgeous.
Yeah.
And there is a diversity within that. But I think also when people have good days instead of like the Midwest where it's like, it takes a bit for like people to actually compliment you if they don't know you.
Right.
Like it's not like in Chicago, I could never get drink spot for me, like hardly ever.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Because
I'd have bought you drinks in Chicago.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is. Like Midwest dudes have this different like level. They're not outgoing.
Interesting.
And so when I came to Chicago, it was a little different. When I came to LA from Chicago, I was like, oh, when I'm having a good day, people will like let me know
I like that.
like, oh,
Yeah,
you
it's
look
good.
good, or hey, I want to
Oh, you
buy
look
you a
nice.
drink.
Yeah,
and they're way more outgoing. And because of that, I felt a little less self-conscious once I was out here. I was like, okay, this is nice to know.
What I tell all my guy friends, because one of the most annoying things that my guy friends do is they'll say like, oh, you're going to Dallas? There's so many beautiful women there. And I go, yeah, yes. Oh, you're going to Tampa? Oh, there's so many beautiful women there. I'm like, yes. Like, one thing everyone needs to know is there's beautiful women everywhere.
Yes.
You'll never go to a place where there isn't beautiful women. We don't have to keep talking about it. They're all there. And the only difference I've noticed between LA and the beautiful women everywhere else on the planet is that our women are more available. Because it's like it's normal to be single in LA.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'll meet 50 of the most beautiful women in the world, like in Arizona, but they all have husbands and families and kids, and you know, like that's not a thing. Whereas in Seattle, I'm not a weirdo for being 40 and like alone and, you know, no like it's normal. They go, yeah, that's fine.
Well, in LA, I think that is super normalized, you know, and I think like being single, it's like, hey, no, you came out here to do your thing. You came out here to pursue what you want to pursue, and that comes first.
Yeah.
You know, when career comes first, the other stuff kind of like goes a little bit behind. You
Yeah,
know?
when it's like, that's why when you go to Buffalo, you feel special, right? Like I go to Buffalo, I'm drinking in a bar, and everyone's looking at me like, well, that guy's, whoa, look at him. He's on TV, and he's got more money than us and stuff. And then I'm thinking, maybe I should move to Buffalo. It'd be cool to feel like this all the time. But it won't feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go, he's got no kids, and he's got a drinking problem, and he's like, it's good to be among your own. You know, like in LA, you can be around other people like you.
Yeah. I think it's good because it relieves the pressure of the kid. Like in the Midwest, even Chicago, it still has this underlying pressure of, hey, you can do this thing, but still have a 9-to-5 job, and then eventually move to the suburbs, have kids, and like a dog. You know?
But I think it's good.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong.
I don't want to do it, but I think that like we should be encouraging people to do it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm still on the fence about it. I did a thing where I froze my eggs this last year, you know, so I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, you got money like that, huh?
No, I have
frozen egg money, huh?
No, not exactly. This podcast isn't doing that well yet.
Yeah.
But,
well, you did it. It sounds like. So.
Well, I have a medical reason. So with the
Okay,
narcolepsy, I had to, I had to have somebody else. I basically have doctors that have specifically
co-signed.
I have doctors that have told me that I should not ever be pregnant, you know?
Oh, really?
And so I had to have somebody else. I'll have to be successful enough to where I can pay somebody else to do the pregnancy part
There you
for
go.
me.
That'd be nice. That's the way to do it anyway.
Yeah. So, but I might as well, I thought I'd just go ahead and do that out of the way.
Okay.
And so then I can make that decision about kids later.
Sure. Yeah, well, I just, like, there's kind of become this new wave of, at least all the shit I watch on the internet. It seems like there's kind of this scoffing at like people that have families and kids. And maybe it's just an LA thing, because I'm around open mics and I'm around comedy shows where that's kind of the premise is like, fuck, I don't want to have kids. Kids are fuck. And I'm like, when did this start? Like you were a kid. Did you know that? Like you were, and also your parents, they decided to do it, and that's nice. Also, it's what everything does. Everything, every cell, every plant, like you reproduce. That's what. There's a reason. Every night around 6 p.m., I'm like thinking about my ex or going, like you want to fuck, you want to. That's what we do. So it's just strange that people are judging it so hard.
I think maybe they also might be judging it because they secretly want it but don't want to admit it, and it's like a weird.
Or it seems cool to be like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It's like, well, you're not cool. It's what everyone does.
Yeah.
Everything fucks. That's what else are you gonna do?
Everybody fucks, you know.
Yeah. You want to TikTok? Is that better than reproducing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's cool. But like, who the fuck are you? Do you think you're better than reproducing? Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah. I'm not sure what could be better than that. I agree.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, awesome. Well, I think we are starting to wind down a little bit.
Yeah, what was that beeping sound I heard earlier?
Is it
But
all right?
is it GoPro saying there's no more, Pro?
Mm-hmm. We got some overhead
Oh,
shots.
it's overhead. That's gonna be. I have a hat on, anyways. You won't want to use those.
That'll be fine. But anyways, yeah, we're.
Did you guys just let it expire because it's too hard to reach anyway?
Yeah.
You're like, I would get it, but look at it. It's way up there.
It's way up there.
Who's gonna reach that?
But yeah, thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's a good time.
If you want to plug some of your socials and
Sure.
all that stuff.
Just all at Jeff Dye. I was lucky enough to be able to secure that in every.
So lucky.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. Whatever TikTok was before TikTok, there was a Sarah Albritton that got that.
Oh, really?
The Musical.ly or whatever it was, and they have not posted since 2015, and this is why I took so long to get to TikTok.
Everybody is pretty hard on Elon Musk, right? People are pretty rude and judgmental about him. But the guy who owned TikTok or owned Twitter before him was a pretty big dickhead for sure.
Yeah.
Because I remember I got on TV and I wanted at Jeff Dye, but it was already taken. And so all I had to do was send my agent sent one email, and they took at Jeff Dye away from that guy and gave it to me.
Oh, shit.
They were like, he's the more famous Jeff Dye. And I was like, that's pretty savage. Like, if I was that guy, I'd be pretty mad. But, like, luckily, it literally took about a couple hours.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's why I got it. Like, a lot of them was just because, it's like, they were like, you're the Jeff Dye.
So if you want to get a manager, just send an email.
Well, I once said on The Tonight Show, I I'm not the most famous Jeff in the world, but I'm easily the most famous Jeff Dye.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And it's a good name too. That's your actual last name?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
my
stage
actual name, yeah.
That's good.
But also Dye. My mom's been doing genealogy her whole life. She still can't even tell us where that name came from.
Oh, really?
It makes no sense. It must have been made up to cover some sins or something.
Yeah, or it could have been a thing where they're getting over and they were just getting the name wrong. Like 'cause my partner's like his mom's side of the family, they chose like a different spelling or a different name because they just happened. They were in a hurry when they came over to America, and they just like they wrote down the town they were from instead of their last name.
Yeah, I wonder if or maybe it was like a long diaper gangen or something, and then they just kept Dye. They were like, we're not gonna keep all that.
Yeah.
It's the real travesty of being a white person. Because it's just white. They don't say Australian or Scottish or French or German or Canadian, or they just go white.
Is that all the things you are?
No.
No, okay.
No, but it's like no one cares. It's like being nothing.
It is weird. It's like the hodgepodge of everything, but it used to be that way back. They're
white. So simple. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, thank you again.
There's still more. So at Jeff Dye.
Oh yeah.
And then I have a game show on Fox called Who the Bleep Is That? That Harvey Levin created, the guy from TMZ, and it's a really simple show. It's just like 3 people who like celebrities, and they compete. I show images of celebrities, and they have to identify who it is before their teammates.
I would be awful at this game.
Really?
I'd be really bad at this game.
You don't recognize people very good.
I'm horrible.
It's been fascinating because the show's so simple, right? Can you think of an easier show?
It should be easy, but
when they pitch it to me, I go, that sounds dumb. But then you play it, and you do find yourself playing along. In fact, we've had cameramen on the show get in trouble because they're not getting it quick enough, and then the cameraman's like, that's BB King. And they're like, wait, hey, we have to throw that out, dude. We have standards and practices. You can't answer for the game. But that's how addicting it is because like you feel very proud if you recognize it first.
Yeah.
And so it's I put it like Masked Singer. Like when you hear about Masked Singer, it's stupid. But when you watch Masked Singer, you go, oh, it's good because it's kind of stupid. It's good because it's so simple and easy to understand. So anyways, it's very fun. Check it out. It's on Fox. Those are all the things I'll promote. I've got some podcasts. I have a wrestling podcast with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
That's on iHeartRadio once a week. I have my own podcast, Jeff Dye's Friendship, which is on All Things Comedy. And then I have a third podcast called 12 Packs with Jeff Dye, where me and some pals of mine drink beer and open baseball cards.
Awesome.
That's very easy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing the podcast. And we always end by saying good night. So good night, everybody.
Good night. See you later. I have to sleep here tonight.
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Jeff Dye. Be sure to follow Jeff at Jeff Dye on all social media and jeffdye.com for upcoming show dates. If you like the podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Follow at Sleeping with Sarah on TikTok and YouTube, and at Sleeping with Sarah Pod on Instagram. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music. Big shout out to Wolf Ramirez and the team at Jam in the Van. Please follow at Jam in the Van and check out their other podcasts and other live shows. I'll be releasing a new podcast each week, so tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. If you want to find out more about me, go to sleepysarah.com or follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Sarah Albritton and TikTok at Sarah Albritton Comedy. Until next time, good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.